Good morning everyone, the MMDA are back on the road and right now they're looking at Baclaran. This area just turned pretty much to unpassable when the Christmas season came and New Year's came. This is meant to be a road, but you can see it's pretty much fully occupied by stores. This van was parked here like this when the team arrived. They issued a ticket, so you couldn't pass through, although many types of vehicles couldn't pass through this narrow road now anyway. Wow, it's just incredible. It's really incredible how when you give an inch it turns into a mile, and I don't know how they're going to clear this up now. That's the thing, when you do say hey you can take a little bit extra, it's very hard to clear it up afterwards, and people will say hey it's just for Christmas, and then hey it's just for this, it's just for this, it's just for this. Wow, incredible. Now you probably remember from previous videos that jeepneys have actually stopped passing through here because they complain they can't pass through, especially when you get further down the road. It's fully blocked by vendors. As you can see right now, all the vendors are rolling their stuff away. I don't know if it's going to be permanent or if they're just going to roll back when the MMDA leave. Some of these are permanent stores that have to be disassembled. That's going to take a while, probably hours to be honest. So probably those might disappear, but the rolling carts, I'm sure they'll be back later. Now recently some people have been saying you don't need more enforcement, what you need to do is build more roads. But what's the point in building more roads if it's just going to be used for stores like this, or if it's just going to be used for parking? The truth is, with the amount of money that's collected from vendors every single week, especially here in Baclaran, we're talking big money. They could easily build a high-rise market building, and it would probably be one of the nicest buildings in the Philippines, because we're talking about big money. But that doesn't happen. Why not? Two reasons. One, vendors like to be on the road. They have easy foot traffic, easy customers, it's easy to make money. What's the reason two? Well, those who are collecting money from them do not want to legitimize the vendors. If you build a market building, if you give them a legitimate way to do business, then you can't collect money from them anymore. So they want the vendors to stay on the streets, they want the vendors to stay on the roads, because it keeps control over them, it allows them to keep collecting money. So that's why you see them here and you don't see them in a nice building, even if it's generating millions and millions every week. I can see the media interviewing someone down here, a lady that's crying. This is one of the arguments that people give is, hey, they're just trying to earn a living, so why don't you give them an opportunity? The thing is, these are not like small-time vendors just trying to earn a basic living. These are professionals. Make no mistake, these are professionals, these are businesses. And if you feel sorry for them, yes, that's okay, you feel sorry for them. But what about all the people who are doing business legitimately? What about the vendors who are inside legitimate market buildings? You have to feel sorry for them as well, because they're losing customers to vendors that are in the road, vendors that are on the sidewalk. So yes, you can feel sorry for them, but everyone does pay a price for this. And like I said, these are professional vendors. These are real businesses. Look at this. Over here you can see the sidewalk clearing team are already starting to dismantle some stores. Actually the owners already took their stuff away and then said do what you want with the store itself. That's the thing, these are professionals. For them this is just the cost of doing business. They would rather just let the MMDA take it instead of having to spend the time taking it down themselves. If this was like a small time vendor, they would definitely want to keep this, because this tarpaulin is, you know, it's worth money. And as I've been walking along and looking at the stores, I can see lights, I can see fans inside. When you look at where the power is coming from, there's an extension running all the way along, multiple extensions. Do you think that's going into a meter? I'd be very surprised. So who's paying for the electric? Over here you can see some of the enforcers are helping to put shoes in a bag to try and help this vendor move on as fast as possible. The truth is, while the vendors here are packing up their stuff and dismantling their stores, further down the road they're not doing anything, because they know that it's going to take hours to get as far as that. So they're pretty much safe, at least for today. And that's one of the things that often makes these kind of operations last much longer, is that vendors don't start packing up their stuff unless you really get as far as them, because they figure if you don't make it that far, well, you live to fight another day. So you clear this many, it takes so many hours, then you get there, okay, I'll start dismantling my store. So it's not like everyone's dismantling at the same time, and that's why it really does take a lot longer than you think. And of course this is only one side. You have the same thing on the other side of the road as well, and when you get further down it's impassable. And it looks like the police SWAT team just arrived. They did ask for extra police support today because Baclaran can be a dangerous area.
Pero nagkikita po kami, pero kailangan bilisan talaga.
Oo, bilisan natin kasi marami pa akong pupuntahan eh. Laki pa nang i-operate ko hanggang doon sa dulo. Iikot pa ko Rojas Boulevard. Hindi ko matatapos ate kung maantayin kita.
Hindi po, ano na po kami, nagligpit na nag-umpisa.
Paki-double
Pero,
time, paki-double
huwag
time.
naman double time,
Kasi
sir.
nakita ko yung iba, nagtutupi. Diba? Isa-isa, kaya natin matatapos.
Kasi,
Bukas pa yun.
mahirap yata yung biglang
kaya
lalabas
yan.
yung...
Kung sinasabing mahirap, mahirap talaga.
Hindi, sir,
kung
nagliligpit na talaga
gagawin
ako.
natin, walang
Pero
mahirap.
huwag naman yung pabilisan.
kailangan natin gawin yon. Kasi kung hindi natin bibilisan, kailan tayo matatapos?
Matatapos din itong araw na to. At
Hindi
least,
pwede yung araw.
half day, sir.
Hindi pwedeng half day. Basta ako gusto ko
Sir
tapusin na
naman.
natin.
Basta hindi lang ka mo magbilis-bilis, sir, ha? Hirap talaga, sir.
Bakit? Ate, ikaw ang masusunod.
Sir,
Kaya nga meron kami
nakiusap ako,
scope.
sir.
Meron kami scope.
Sir, nakiusap ako,
Patutulungan
sir.
kita kung ayaw mo.
Kami lang po, pero nandyan naman po yung anak ko.
Okay, sige. Basta,
Basta
pag nandyan na ako, nakatapat na kami sa inyo, hindi pa kayo tapos, tutulungan namin kayo.
Kasi yung anak ko po, tinatawagan pa po yung isa. Sige po, thank you, sir.
The sidewalk clearing team are now becoming more active because, you know, sometimes you have to show that you're really serious about clearing the road, clearing the sidewalk. There's Mr. Zures, a well-known enforcer. So far, no goods have been confiscated, but if it does come to that, then you'll expect to see everything move a lot faster. Just like in One Luna Divisoria, it moves very, very slow, but then as soon as some goods are confiscated, you just see everyone vanish within minutes. Hopefully it won't come to that because the team never like to confiscate items, furniture, structures, things like that, yes, but the physical goods that they're selling, that's quite unusual. We'll just wait and see how it plays out. And as the stores start to disappear, the thing that you start seeing is all the trash that's left behind. What made me notice it is I saw two big rats running this way. So you have the trash on the floor, you have all the trash up here. This unfortunately the side effect of vendors, they often leave all their trash behind. There's bottles here, I imagine that's urine in those bottles by the look of it and by the way it smells around here. So yeah, this is one of the very sad side effects, one of many unfortunately. You can see there's so many mosquitoes flying around here also. I'll try and stay away from those. You can see that this one is slowly being disassembled also. It does take a while because of the way this metal structure goes together, but slowly and surely it is being deconstructed and well, it's opening up a little bit, but like I said, this is going to take many hours.
Kalansan kami dyan mamaya. Sira, dyan mo, sa gilid na sa likod na yan. Kasi,
Basta huwag sa bangketa. Basta sa lampas
sir,
ng
pasali
bangketa.
po yan sa inyo konti. Ipaalam ko sa inyo, sir.
Pwede
Pero
kasi
sir,
ate
maalis
na.
talaga yan. Kasi inalis namin.
Lahat pinapaalam mo sa akin.
Sir, kailangan talaga, sir.
Lahat papayagan mo rin sila.
Hindi, sir, hindi naman lahat ganun, sir, na
Pwede nga,
sitwasyon.
yun nga. Gusto ko kasi fair sa lahat. Kung pinayagan ko ang isa, payagan ko lang.
Kasi wala akong husband, sir.
Ganun
Sino
ako, ate.
tutulong, sir?
Tulungan ka namin.
Ayan na, naglilipat
Ito ate, tulungan ka namin. Kailangan mo ng tulong. Ang daming tao.
Hindi po,
Oo.
kasi ang trabaho nyo lang po is ganun lang. Diyan lang po sa tabi, sir.
Tulungan kita.
Sir, Sir Cornel, diyan lang po sa tabi.
Lagay mo doon kung saan hindi bangketa.
Sir naman.
Bakit ayaw mo?
Opisina po yun, dito lang banda konti, sir.
Kaya nga ate.
Sir, mamaya
Ito
nga
ayaw
po,
mong
sir.
pumayag. Yung pinapalagay ko doon.
Mamaya nga po, sir, wala na po yan. Kasi isa sa lansan nga po.
Hindi ikaw masusunod ate.
Oh, grabe naman si sir.
Oh.
Parang walang puso. Ba yan?
May puso. Kaya nga kita pinapayagan na ilagay
Sir, tingnan mo nga yung kariton ko doon, sir. Hindi ako nagsalita, sir.
Sabihin wala akong puso. Hindi lang.
Meron po, hindi po mabuhay ang tao, sir.
Oh.
Joke lang. Sir, joke lang. Sir, tingnan mo yung kariton ko, sir.
Now the truth is that pretty much every vendor will ask the team the same thing. Hey, can you just give me one more day? But what they really mean is, hey, can you just go away and then don't come back? Because that's what they know will happen. The team can't be in the same place every single day. So if they can just buy enough time, if they can just convince you to leave them alone this time, it could be weeks before the team is back again. And then, well, you have to make a decision. Do you want the roads to be converted to businesses like this? Make no mistake, these are businesses, these are serious businesses. Or do you want them to be used for what they were intended for, which is for vehicles to pass on, the sidewalks for pedestrians? And people say, hey, they're just earning a simple living. But there are serious effects to this on the economy. I can't remember how much they said, something like $1 billion per week in losses because of traffic in Metro Manila. what do you think this is? This causes major traffic. It closes big roads. So yeah, you have to try and find a balance between letting people earn a living and letting the country survive. And the masses, you'll also see lots of bottles of liquor around everywhere, so people have been drinking and having a good time. Let's check on the other side of the road. Well, it's pretty congested this side as well. You can see stores on both sides. Vehicles can barely pass through. It's okay for tricycles, but I don't know if cars and vans would fit through here so easily. If you look further down here, you can see some store owners aren't even making an attempt to pack away their stuff. It's just business as usual for them. That's the unfortunate thing, like I mentioned earlier. Some of them really won't pack up their stuff unless the MMDA get right to their doorstep, because they figure, well, they might not make it this far, so I could have another day or another week or another month in this location. And it really makes these kind of operations take much longer. If you look in the sewer down here, you can see it's also full of trash. That's quite depressing, because it means when it rains, it's going to flood, and this whole area will flood. Some of the pedestrians that have been walking past have been thanking the team. I'm sure they're sick of walking in the middle of the road. I just don't think they can get all of this done in a day. And like I said, some people are not complying. They're continuing to sell stuff. I saw customers at that shop a few minutes ago buying jeans. The problem I also see is that if they don't manage to clear them all, these vendors over here might set up again and say, well, if they're allowed, we're allowed. And then the problem's going to continue even longer. So it's a very tricky one. Here goes another e-vehicle loaded with goods. There's so many of them around here. They're all being loaded up. So I guess they're the favorite of the vendors. The problem is, well, one problem with those e-vehicles is a lot of them are also being used as call-arm tricycles when they're not being used to carry goods.
Tanggalin ko lahat. Oo nga, pero yung livelihood ng mga barangay po na pinag-iusapan ni Cap, yan po yung pinayag.
Asan nga yung papel? Meron? Wala.
Hindi ko pa alam, sasabihin mo. Kasi siya nakipag-usap doon eh.
Walang pirmahan.
And for anyone wondering, the clearing isn't just one side. It's also going on the other side. There's another team. You can see one of the MMDA up the top there now. Those from the barangay said this is some kind of livelihood program. I do wonder whose livelihood they're talking about. If you look at these businesses, they're just as big as the ones that you see in the mall. They're just as big as the ones you see in the marketplace. These are not like simple livings. These are proper businesses. You can see they're still serving customers even now, selling jeans. I've been watching this lady for a few minutes now. She picks up a piece of clothing and then she moves it to the back rack. Then she picks up one from the back, moves it to the front, and she's been doing this for a while, basically just pretending to look busy, hoping that the MMDA will run out of time, leave, and then they can continue doing business as usual. And that's really the plan here. They want to consume as much time as possible so that the team leave and they continue doing business. You can see they just took the tarpaulin off this one. Lots of cases, they're selling speakers, looks like they've got some cell phones in there. These are not this kind of simple livelihood programs that you'd expect when the barangay say, hey, this is a livelihood program. These are really businesses, come on. So that's the barangay captain there. The guy there, he refers to himself as the Sultan. He previously told me he's in charge of the vendors in this area. What you heard the barangay captain talking about was that they have allowed them to consume a certain amount of space, the vendors, like half a meter or something like that. But that's why Baclaran is Baclaran, that's why Divisoria is Divisoria, because it does not work when you compromise. When you say to vendors, okay, you can have this much space, they're going to consume all of the space, and yeah, it can't be enforced. You've seen how many hours the team have been here today and they barely even scratched the surface. So that's the reality of when you give an inch, you lose a mile and you lose control of everything. You can see over here a lady's collecting more extension wires. Again, I do wonder where the power is coming from. You can see many wires are spliced together. It's quite dangerous also, but nobody really worries about that, to be honest. And of course you can see below that it's just trash everywhere. The whole place is full of trash. Could you imagine if someone actually like studied what this does to the environment and what all the pee and poop and everything else does? And you can see more bottles of pee over here. It's just kind of a little bit disgusting, to be honest, but I'm used to the smell already. At least I don't notice it anymore. So you can see the road is starting to open up again. It doesn't take long for them to roll away, but of course it doesn't take long for them to roll back either. This is a very popular spot because it's near the train station, so lots of commuters. In fact, that's also where all the complaints come from, is commuters, apart from residents, of course. Unfortunately, the reality is that they will roll back, because for the barangay it's okay, for the city it's okay. So the only thing the vendors have to worry about is the MMDA, and they know the MMDA don't have the resources, the manpower to be here every single day. So that's the reality, that yes, they will leave for now, but they'll be back in a very short while. Somebody just asked me, why don't the MMDA just put some men here to permanently watch the street? The truth is, the vendors will not listen to you unless they see a truck like that and think that you're actually going to confiscate stuff. They will not listen to you. If you tell them to move, they won't move. And that's why having groups of men stationed on the street for vendors doesn't really work, especially in a place like this, because they will not cooperate unless they see a truck and there's the risk of confiscation. It's sad, but it's true. And you'll see this kind of thing all over the place. Planks of wood used to let people cross these, I don't know what you'd call them, but like they're like a lake of water and dirt and stuff like that. Why? Because the sewers are backed up. Why are the sewers backed up? Probably because they're full of trash. Instead of fixing it, they just put planks everywhere so people can cross over it. Here's another common game, is taking down the umbrellas that are extending into the road. When the MMDA come, you fold them up and you stay within the yellow line. When the MMDA leave, you put them up again. If you look at that yellow line, you'll find that all around Baclaran. It's basically saying, okay, vendors are allowed to be here and they can pay a certain fee to operate there. It doesn't matter if it's a road, it doesn't matter if it's a sidewalk, it becomes space for vendors. But of course, like you've seen everywhere in Baclaran and Divisoria and these kind of areas, even if you say this is how much space you're allowed, they'll expend well beyond it. And by evening, you can't even go down this road. But in the morning time, like right now, it's not too bad. We're now on the front side, and to be honest, it looks a lot better than it did over Christmas. Because actually you could barely even pass through here during Christmas, so it's better, but it's still not great. If you look along here, you cannot get to the shops behind, like Dunkin' Donuts, impossible. Max's, impossible. Further along, I remember last time we were here, I tried to get through to 7-Eleven. It was so difficult. The only way through was by going through a maze of vendors. That's the only way I could get into the shop. So yeah, it's bad luck if you have a property along here, because, well, your customers can't even get through. And according to the barangay, according to the city, that is okay. These vendors are permitted, these vendors are allowed. Now, another thing I noticed over the Christmas period when I passed through this area, there were a lot of vendors in this road also, and you can see they're still here. In fact, the bus is making their exit from there, have to maneuver around these vendors, so that's not good. Lots of people walking in the road, that's also not good. They could all be given jaywalking tickets. But the problem is the bus probably unloaded them over there where it says no loading, unloading. You can see another vendor over here restocking his unit. This is the problem. They've now extended beyond. They're not even just inside, they're now outside on this highway also. I saw a lady PMP, I thought it might be Main Mendoza doing another shoot. I haven't seen the movie yet, and you might remember my last video here in Baclaran a couple of weeks ago, just before Christmas. The team spent so long clearing all these vendors, and obviously it was a waste of time, because literally by that night time I passed through the area again and they'd all set up their stores again. So that's the reality of rolling vendors away. They will roll back, and it kind of wastes the time of the MMDA. So the thing is, like I said, it's tricky, because if the city and the barangay don't have the same kind of rules as the MMDA, then it's hard to make a difference. And I don't know how you deal with that, to be honest.